Hey guys, Steven here today, and today what I wanted to talk about is tactical defending, right? So, to kind of make sense of this, you kind of have to be referring to all the videos in the series because everything just builds on each other, right? But the premise of tactical or swag defending just lies on the idea that you're playing as one team. So you as a player, you're not just you're a fucking independent island. Like you're actually a player, and every single one of your actions literally causes success or failure to the entire team, right? So what this means is you have to be able to see where your other teammates are in relation to you on the field, and more importantly, in relation to all the players to the goal. Because what is the point of soccer to fucking score a goal? That is it. It's not about playing tiki-taka. It's not about fucking creating insane soccer moves. The goal is to score. You as a defender, your role is to prevent that from happening. But then I go even further, is by the way you prevent that from happening, as you're preventing that from happening, you should also be creating opportunities for your team to score. So what does that mean? It means you're essentially thinking defensively while moving offensively. And that sounds really weird. But how I break this down is the concept of the triangle, right? If you play with me, like, you probably hear me scream that a lot. But what this means is essentially think of a fucking triangle, an isosceles triangle at that. It has equal angles on all sides. That means that all sides are equal in length, right? So what this means in soccer is essentially you're always moving at the same level of energy as the other two parties in your triangle. And so I always think of soccer as a spiritual game first and foremost. And this sounds weird, but this is something that you're just going to have to try on for yourself personally. And also bear with me because I still feel like I'm struggling to explain this in words. This is something I feel like I do more intuitively, and it probably just freaks people the fuck out. They're like, what the fuck? This kid's crazy. Like, I don't understand what he's saying. But anyways, like, what you're doing is, in your mind, you're connecting with your teammates, right? Whether it's like a quick glance and being aware of where they are, etc. But then what that means now is you're moving with them in this triangle formation. For it to work, all you just got to think about is a triangle in your mind, and your body and awareness and energy will actually place you accordingly. That is the fucking beauty and magic of being a human being, right? Actually being alive. You can connect and do shit like that just by intention, right? So you're connecting, right? Now, to defend a play, all it takes, your goal is to just slow down the fucking play. Or in other words, remove momentum from the play. Your goal is not necessarily to fucking kill the opposing player and like injure him and make a hard block. You can do that. But more than anything, your goal is to just remove momentum from the play. There are two ways of doing that. Obviously, if you play FIFA, you're really aware of this. One way which is the way to go, and the way I recommend, is essentially playing shadow. And what that means is, Someone is coming up and you just cover them. You don't stab unless you have a clear fucking shot at getting the ball. But you just go and stay with them. If they move to the left, you move to the left. You're literally like a mirror and you just dance with them, right? And so what that does is it's forcing them to make a stronger decision. Now, remember the triangle. As you're doing this, what you're trying to do, if you're really smart, is angle your body in a way that you're forcing them to make it to where the only decision or option that they have is to run in the direction where your teammates are awaiting you. Remember how I said your only goal is to remove momentum? That is true, because essentially the triangle, what happens is the person at the point of the pyramid, at the point, like these are the sides, the person at the top will run forward, right? And then he will stop momentum. You can call this like wave one, right? Wave one will slow down the play by a lot. And then wave two, which will be either this guy or that guy, will come in and either collect the ball or slow the play down again. And then wave three always, or most 99, pretty much 100% of the time, is the one that collects the ball if wave one or two have not. And that's literally how it works. Another way that I like to call it, or like the words that came to mind, is a staggered defense, right? So you take the triangle and you just tilt it. And what does that do? It creates like this zigzag where it's like player here, player here, player here, and you can just keep that chain going along the fields over and over. And it's like a whole bunch of triangles just connecting to each other. And it's like a staggered defense. And so what that means, again, player right here will go, slow the play down. If he doesn't collect, player two will come to his aid, right? But player one will angle his body in a way that this opposing play or this play will have to go to player two, and making it really fucking easy for player two to collect, right? And then if player two doesn't collect, he will angle his body in a way that it's ridiculously fucking easy. And if both of these waves have done their job right, there will be little to no momentum on the ball. And player three, or wave three, literally has to just walk up and just scoop it from them. That's the fucking gnarliest defense. I believe that's why teams like Chelsea, Brazil kind of did this at some point, but back in the days, right? And even fucking Cameroon, funny enough. Like, that's why we won. Because, like, when you do this, you're not even using any fucking energy. It's like Tai Chi. You're literally just redirecting their energy against them and moving it to your advantage. So someone can be running full speed. You don't even have to, like, kill yourself to meet that. All you gotta do is just slow it down, right? And then they're tired. They're so tired from just putting their all on it. So when you revert that momentum, they won't have the energy to keep up with you. And furthermore, you can add a boost, right? So one thing, though, for it to work is to always remember that you have to stay in a triangle, right? What this means is don't be too far apart. Like, a lot of times I see, like, this point, right? He just rushes way too early, right? Or he rushes in a way that the two sides aren't even in position to support him yet. So when you're doing that, what happens is this opposing play can literally just lob the ball over, and that literally leaves a fat hole because these two can't really trap. Like, there's so much space. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, don't fucking leave holes for the offense to take advantage of. because that's what leads to goals 99% of the time. Someone just rushing forward and just leaving a fat pocket of space for the offense to take advantage of. Right? Or they're rushing in with way too much fucking energy and they're about to get crossed up, meaning the person is about to go like this and then like that. And because they're leaning too much on one side, it's going to fuck shit up. Remember, the less energy you can add to the game, or the more you can flow with the current energy without doing too much or too little, the swaggier you are. Right? Another thing also on top of this is the idea of the back line, the offside rule, right? The offside rule was essentially something that came about because of the physical characteristic of playing in a rectangular field. I'll talk about this more in this sacred geometry video. If the words can come out right, it should make sense. But essentially, what this means is the back line always needs to be set in a straight line, like those last three defenders or last two, whichever you play it, have to be on that same line. You have to be working together. You have to be on the same frequency. It's one team, and the back line of the defense is more important than anything else, because if the back line is set properly, offense will have no problem scoring, right? The reasons why strikers and players playing forward get injured is because they're having to just run into walls, essentially run into traps, because they have no other option, because the back line is broken. And so what that means is the whole team as a whole is not connecting, right? And because of that, all of a sudden, whereas, for example, in this triangle formation where here's a triangle here, and then this is the start of another triangle, just connecting and linking the entire team's defense as a fucking network, that's gone completely. And so all of a sudden now, it's like players are playing like if they're playing by themselves and not as if they're playing on a team. And so now it's like all these individual players and there's a fuck ton of space. And so now what that means is all it takes is like three guys on the other team to connect together and they'll just fucking wreck this team that's not playing together at all. They'll just create a trap. They'll just like do little like 1-2 passes, all this shit, and it'll work devastatingly because these guys aren't communicating at all, right? So the key to that is the back line. If the last three players can really keep those strikers like you're essentially controlling the strikers, meaning by you three setting that line, you're forcing them to essentially play within your range of the game and not anymore. So when there's not a back line, meaning there's not those three guys setting it to where if this striker is moving beyond, he's out of bounds or offsides, what that means is the striker is essentially controlling the game. Because all the striker has to do is come forward, the defenders will react to him, and so on. And then because they're reacting to him, it leaves all this space for the guys behind him to play into, right? But if the line is strong, right, the defenders essentially are dictating the game because they can move forward, and because they're moving unison, if the guy is behind him, he's caught out of bounds, right? Another crazy thing too is like strikers that can repeatedly play out of bounds or are continuously offside are actually fucking it up for their team, because soccer is made in a way that it ebbs and flows, right? And when you're cheating, essentially, you're actually fucking yourself up, because it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like there's this nature to the game and it ruins the dynamics of it. And it knows how to make people pay harshly. Like the physics of it are just set to where that happens every single time. So you'll notice anytime like strikers are offside, most of the time their team is losing because essentially their team is coming in and the striker is out of bounds and they want to play to him, but they realize that he's out of bounds. But that striker is not aware of it. So he's not getting the ball, and maybe he's even getting mad, right? But the team can see that he's offside, right? So what happens is instead of making that little pass, that direct pass that would lead to the goal, they're forced to like play right here. And so what happens is it creates this neutral momentum, meaning the ball is not moving forward like it should be, or the play is not evolving like it should be, but it just gets, it's like almost like creating a plateau or a dead zone. And it just stops right there. And then the defending team just scoops it and then overturns that momentum. And that's something that's really important to remember, right? Momentum is essentially the ball going in one direction or the other. For you to go, say for example you're a defender and someone is attacking, for you to go that way, you have to overturn that momentum or overturn that energy, right? So you have to grab the ball, stop it, then move it into the other direction for it to successfully move that way. You could say that, yeah, you could scoop the ball and move it in the opposing momentum in one play. That's rarely ever done, right? Like very rarely. So that is also really important to remember. So I'm always like talking about learn to walk with the ball first before running, because you'll all of a sudden realize that there's all these little micro steps that occur that in your mind you kind of do already, but you don't consider that those micro movements actually take space themselves, right? So like overturning or stopping the ball takes space, and then moving it in another direction or another momentum takes space, right? Things like that. I feel like I covered everything that I wanted to say about tactical defending. But just really remember it's all about the triangle. And the triangle moves both ways. It's like multi-directional. That's why I think it made the most sense to me. Because it's, I don't know if you've ever played those alien space games, right? Where like your spaceship or it's this triangle thing. And so what happens is when you're flying, you can go like this or like that, but you can also like twist it and go in all these different ways, right? And that's the same thing in defense, because you will be constantly connecting with different teammates at different moments in time, right? But that triangular-like field that connects you all is what is the most devastating way of creating a solid defense. And it will sometimes even feel like it's like a weird triangle. It will be like all these different shapes, but it'll stay a triangle all the same. And that's why I call it multi-directional, because it's not always like perfect, but it's always one. Hope that made sense. And as always, swag the fuck out.
Cannon.
Love it. But no one does it better. Money Machine is counting. So turn up your radios.
Goldfish and Don Cannon. The cool kids. Masterpiece.
The cannon.
It's about time, ain't it? Right.
Cannon.
I'm in the best shape of my life. Me rapping with these kids is like racing a bike against a man with one kick on until the lights flick on. They kick us out the party, then give me my car keys. We come in peace, we don't mean to cause you no harm, cuz but I can go off like an alarm does. If it comes to that, I trust you wouldn't do that, cause I'm the new cat digging in cans in the alleyway. Fuck Simon, you should do what Mikey say. And Mikey says about now you should be bobbing your head. About damn time too. Took fools all goddamn day to figure out the ill shit that we be into. Take a step into my mental. People that I be thinking about. People can deceive you if you leave them with your bank account wide open. Keep your eyes open and your wallet in your front pocket. Let's smoke the blunt, still an option. Vanilla suede moccasins, they mocking them. They rocking imitations when they duplicate the shit that I be laced in. The Dalai Lama like two types can never rhyme like vintage North Faces on the faces of your paper. Put your hands up in the air and you hold it up, hold them up. Like you never cared, nigga. Roll it up, roll it up, fold it up, put it in your pocket, your wallet. Then bet a couple dollars that the party keeps rocking. Hands up in the air and you hold them up, hold them up. Like you never cared, nigga. Roll it up, roll it up, fold it up, put it in your pocket, your wallet. Then bet a couple dollars that the party keeps rocking. Hold them up, hold them up. Roll it up, roll it up. Hold them up, hold them up. Roll it up, roll it up. I'm about 3 feet taller than some knee deep water. Quarter nickel down, this assist to the line. The illest has a list, you're not in it, there's the line. He is I and I am him, this my main man Mikey. I'm real nice, try me if you want to. I'll be walking bulldogs to the party in these new flights, telling sucker niggas what they can't do. Right now, right down now a game plan. I'm cutting lights out, putting fires out in the Chevrolet truck. Don't put them hands down unless you pick me something up. Hurry up, call the barber up, get the sides faded up, the usual season. Then the neck gets tapered up, sharper than the paper cuts paper up. Neighbor or sharper than that church suit. Father's Day Taylor, what the father say to the daughter who picked me? He's ridiculous, but probably the best you've seen. Put your hands up in the air and you hold it up, hold them up. Like you never cared, nigga. Roll it up, roll it up, fold it up, put it in your pocket, your wallet. Bet a couple dollars that the party keeps rocking. Hands up in the air and you hold them up, hold them up. Like you never cared, nigga. Roll it up, roll it up, fold it up, put it in your pocket, your wallet. Then bet a couple dollars that the party keeps rocking.